Hi, I'm Eric Paulson, and this is my basic arm lock attack tape. The first arm lock attacks we're going to do starts from the knees, because half the time you wrestle, you start on your knees to avoid injuries. So now I'll bring in Atticus Lish and demonstrate some of our attacks from the knees. Okay, what I'm going to do now, when he reaches up, I'm going to clinch underneath his elbow. That's so when he pulls his arm back, I got control. Number two is I'm going to put my head sideways like this. I'm going to pinch his arm so when he tries to pull it out, look it, it's mine. Now once I take this, I'm going to take my hand and put it on his neck. Okay, so I've got an elbow and necktie. So what I'm going to do now with my hand is I'm going to come up and I'm going to place it up towards the top of his head. As I do that, I'm going to place his head on his bicep like this. This is called kazushi. To kazushi him, I off balance. Now I keep my head down, therefore I can't be rethrown. I step to block his knee so he can't, because what he wants to do is post his right knee out. Good, just like that. So what I'm going to do now from right here is I'm just going to post and I'm just going to step like that. As I do that, I'm going to step up and I'm going to squat and kneel on him just like this. I am going to hook his arm and look how I'm holding his head. Drop your legs once. Move your hand. Look how I'm holding his head. I was holding it just like this. That's going to allow me to set my perineum on the back of his tricep so he can't pull his arm out. Now when I take his hand, I'm going to go into what we call a Japanese style arm lock. That's with the knee pinch, just like this. And I'm going to make sure that his thumb is turned towards his feet, this way. Not all the way, just about maybe a quarter. Therefore, he can't do what we call the last resort escape, and that's when his thumb comes up. He turns his thumb up, his pinky high, and he'll roll to his knees. Okay, so what I'm going to do to avoid him from doing that is I'm going to hold this tight. I'm going to pinch my knees as hard as I can. He starts to roll, and I just hold it here, and I'm keeping his thumb this way, and I'm using my left hip as my fulcrum and locking his elbow. Okay. Again, he comes up, I hold him, I off balance him, I step over, and I take the lock. Now I don't have to end up that way. I can keep my head down this way and still use this pinch as the fulcrum. Now if I'm pulling this down and I'm starting to get a crunch on my groin, that means I didn't pinch my knees. So in order to avoid that, I lift just a little bit, pinch, and then bring it back down. Another thing I'll use is my hip socket, left or right, to lock his elbow. Another thing you could do is place your fist on your pubic bone and use your fist like this. If his elbow is real flexible, I could sit up and put it under my armpit and keep it tight. This is very dangerous because you'll hyperextend his arm real fast. So some people are real flexible in their elbows. So what I will do is use the hip socket, and as I take this with all my power, I will back bridge at the same time to try to break the elbow joint. In this next lock, there's two ways to take it. Number one is I'm going to take my first attack. He stuffs me onto my back, so I have to go to number two. The second way I take it is I jump into it and attack it. Okay, so now this is called knee or shin across the belly, laying back into an arm lock. So again, he reaches up and I attempt to take this, and I know he's going to stuff me to my back. Notice I jam him up here. I push him up. As I'm pushing him up here, I'm holding his elbow. I'm keeping my knee nice and tight. This is going to lift over his head. And now what I'm going to do is place my right hand under his leg. I just lift him and I lock his arm before he hits the ground. Okay, again. So from right here, I try or attempt to take the first throw. Oh, he stuffed me. Look how I just held it here. Now I can lock him right here, but what he's probably going to try to do is come into me and stuff me. So I'm going to underhook and just bring him over and lock his arm before he hits the ground. Therefore, he doesn't have a chance to recounter. Okay, so again, as he takes it here, I'm going to shove his head and I'm going to try to step. He's going to stuff me and I'm going to bring it up here. And this time I just use my legs to finish him. Okay. That's defensive. Offensively, I attacked the first attack, and then I got stuffed. Now, sometimes what I do is I use this right foot, and I'm going to kick the side of his body just like this. Looks like an outside crescent kick. Okay? But when I do that now, I'm going to fall back on my hip, push his head, and take the same lock. Okay? Again. So I just take this, kick, fall, and push his head, and lock the lock. One more time. The third lock that I'd like to do for my knees now is when he's on his knees here, instead of inserting a knee or a shin across the body, instead of trying to off-balance him, what I'm going to do is hold him again, but I'm going to jump across his body in the guard. So what I'm going to do now, instead of stepping my foot here, I'm going to step on the other side. So when I position him here, instead of stepping here this time, I'm going to step my foot here. And as I step that foot there, I'm just going to fall to my right side and hold his head again. I've got that clinch and tie. This is going to allow me to bring him right into me and just bring it right up onto him. Just like that. So he reaches up. Boom, I come up like this. My foot is going to step here, so I'm actually stepping my body, and I'm trying to spin his body kind of into me like this. And then I bring it up, and then I bring it down and take the lock. Again, he comes in, I step, and I fall and I push his head. Look at that. My legs go up to the sky. Take him down, lock his arm. A lot of times when he reaches up, okay, what I'm going to do, I like this one because it kind of sprawls him out. Again, the tie-up is very important. The underhook, nice and tight here, pinching that arm. So again, he reaches this side. I pinch it tight, and I underhook his elbow, pull it back, okay? And then I clinch up on his head. Okay, good. So again, he's here. Now what I'm going to do, as soon as I'm here, I'm going to put my right foot right on his thigh. I'm going to sprawl him out and go to my belly. Very dynamic and extremely fast. So when I go here, I kick his leg out, and I just bring my leg over, and I arm lock him from here. Again, I put my foot here, I sprawl him out, just like this. Now, I bring my leg, I can bring my knee on the back of his head and pull this up, just like this. I can bring my leg over in case his head starts to lift and bring it out this way. I can also, from here, he'll bend his arm. I pinch my knee and I just pull his arm back into me this way, and I V-arm lock it. This is fine too, okay? And if I am here and he starts to come up, I start to bring it, and he starts to come up, look at, I can bring him back into the standard overturn arm lock position again. Now notice my legs, I have both legs over, 2 feet on the ground, pinching my knees, using my hip as a fulcrum, my hip, or my pubic bone as a fulcrum, or the center of my legs pinching tight. This will allow me to lock this. One important factor when he's on his back here, on the arm lock, also known as Juji Gatami. Juji is arm, and Gatami is hold, arm hold, is from right here. If you're going to take this from here, I have both of my feet over. I can hug it as tight as I can to my body and use my body weight and my head back. I can use 2 hands here. Some people sometimes will hook an arm here or hook an arm here like this to control it. Doesn't matter. I can hold it tight. What you don't want to do is hold it here, because if he grabs his hands, you're fighting his strength. So you always want to climb to the top of the branch, we'll call the arm a branch, or the top of the appendage, and hold it as tight as I can. He resists, and look at, I just use my whole body versus his arm. And my head goes back. Okay. A key here now, again, is when I grab this, I don't want his elbow to come away from my body. Because if it does, again, I'm using my strength in my arms as opposed to the weight of my body. Keep this tricep tight to your body. Okay, resist. And I just use my weight of my body to take that arm. Okay, again, you can use your hands, it's okay. Go. 2 against 1. Okay, and the key again is to keep this nice and tight, keep that elbow tight to your body, climb up to the top of the wrist, and we'll go over breaks later on, ways to catch it, and also different ways to hold the arm in different positions. Okay, again, we'll start out from our knees. We're here. From right here, I kick that support knee out. Let's face them right here. I kick this out to get him to sprawl, hook over, and I just come right up to here. Now again, this leg can stay here, or I'd put it on here because his head would start to lift up, and I bring it across his face here, and I just hip in, just like that. If he comes up, just like this, both of my legs are here, keep coming, and I use this to balance him and bring him back and lock him. Okay, next one from kneeling position is when he comes up and he's going to attach. As he's grabbing, as he grabs with my neck, I've got to get rid of this hand. So by getting rid of this hand, I've got a couple ways I'll clear it. Now, one way that I'll clear it is I'll just reach this hand across. And as I reach this across, I'm going to grab underneath this finger, this one. I'm going to reach underneath his elbow. And as I do this, I'm going to just take it real fast. I'm going to take it, pinch it, take it, and rip this as fast as I can to the ground. Usually what will happen is he'll come to this position right here. I'm going to stuff his head underneath. Look how he rolls. And I'm just going to post and sit up and work my arm lock finish here. Now look at my hand position on this one. My hand stays underneath his elbow now from right here. My hand stays underneath his elbow, and I pull this down, and I use my legs and my hands this way to finish the arm lock. This way. Okay, come back up. Okay, again. So as he's reaching, I take and I pinch, grab over the top, and take 2 hands and push and pull him to this position. Usually he will naturally do a roll anyways. This leg's going to step over, post, sit up, and bring this arm down and arm lock it. So again, I reach this up, 2 hands come up, keep it nice and tight, rip it down as hard and fast as you can, step over that head, post, sit out, and finish the lock. All right, so as he grabs, I go to shuck, and as I shuck this, look at, I take this hand and I catch it. So we call collar tie, head up, shoulder forward, shuck and catch. As I do this, this hand punches, his pinky comes up, his thumb goes down. I punch this over and sit out to the reverse arm lock position here. Notice I'm using my armpit tight, pinky up, thumb down, and I'm just pulling it straight up in the air like this. And I'm actually going to pinch it and then lift it. Okay, again. He grabs from right here. As soon as he grabs, my knee comes up on the outside. I shuck and bring this arm over the top, head up, sit back, and lift this up. Okay, let's look at it on the other side. Same thing. He grabs, leg comes up, I grab, I shuck, my arm sits out, I sit out to here, and just lift this straight up in the air. My armpit is now the fulcrum for the finish on this lock. And I can also grab the back of my head. So as he grabs, I shuck. The main thing is getting this off your neck. So shucking and turning. So as I'm taking him, turning his palm facing me, and I just bring it out to here and sit out with my head back and lift this straight up in the air. Okay, in this position, you have your armpit as your fulcrum. Your body can be your fulcrum. This is your body. Your elbow can be your fulcrum. You can also use your hand in a V position behind your head and flex your chest. Okay? And you can even do that when you're doing that. Okay? Or use your leg and body. And you always have a wrist on the end of it. Last one is called a switch, sit and switch arm lock. He grabs. Again, I've got to clear this. I can clear it by pulling it off. I can clear it by coming inside. I can clear it by shucking it. Doesn't matter if I shuck it If I shucked it, I would have to switch it down into my other grip. So why don't I just take it here? I'll just take it off with this hand, and I go to this, and I grab it like that. Again, I pull it off. Again, I take this, 3 fingers, and I pull the wrist, and I pull it out and down. Again, out and down, out and down. Now, as I take it out and down, this hand shoots right through here. And all I'm going to do is just sit out and switch, just like that. And as I do this, he's going to go flat down. I'm going to go for the reverse arm lock here. Now, I can't arm lock him here unless I'm strong. So what I do is I just switch my hand. Ooh. And I keep my chest down and just reverse arm lock him. Okay, again. So again, I take this, I pull it off, I switch my grip. I pull it off and I switch my grip. I reach underneath here and shoot it, and I just sit out to here. As I sit out, I'm just going to take this here from right here. I can't lift it, so I use my leg to prop it for a sec, and then I underhook it. Now I've got the armpit and the chest flexion. Okay. Now what happens sometimes is as I do this, I pull this off and I go like that, and I go to here, and as I do this, he rolls. He rolls. See how he rolls? Ooh. So now I have the option to just hold this still and just figure forward here and put my body weight and reverse arm lock it this way. Okay, again. So he grabs, I take it off, I switch, grab, shoot it through, I sit out, he rolls with me. Oh no. So instead of falling backwards here, I keep my balance, I walk back, I shoot over the top, figure for it, and take it here. If he bends his arm into me, I jump over his body like that, and now I reverse arm lock him this way, over the arm, and like that. And Atticus has a chip in his elbow so his arm doesn't flex all the way. Okay? I meant a screw. He's got a screw loose in his elbow. Okay, so again, he grabs, I take it off, I place it, I reach under here, I sit out, he goes belly down. Lift your leg, bring it underneath, number 1. He rolls. Look how he rolled. I could go to Keisugatami and start to attack it here. This is fine too, relax. Look at his shoulder. Woo. Okay, so I hold his shoulder down, keep my head down, and I use it this way. That's one way. Or I place it here, and I bring my foot over, and then I bring my other foot, and then I arm lock it this way, hips forward. Ooh. Okay? So again, this one going to go down, hold this here, or I would place this leg and I would hip into it this way. Sorry, to get the full straightness, okay? Or I straighten it, reverse, keep my head down. Here, it's not working, he bends his arm. Either way, put my head down and jump over his body, keep it tight, and now reverse, look at him under his elbow, reverse arm lock it this way. Now the key is being ambidextrous, being able to go right and left side. Now if I could go 8 here, then I have 8 here, that's 16. When I go standing, which I have all the same arm locks standing, we don't teach them standing right off the bat because, again, of injuries, but the way you're going to do is you're going to snap your partner, he lifts, you jump into it. So that gives me, what, 32 locks. That gives me 8, 8, which is 16. Add another 8 on that is 24, another 8 on that is 32. So I've got 32 locks. That's 32 locks I just showed you, if you guys do it that way and train it that way. So again, we'll just start out from the beginning. First one is, again, this is the most important thing. He grabs, and I come to here, and I come to here. I pinch him, I drop him, and then step over and bring it in. Okay, so let me just run through each one without talking. You counter.
Now what we're going to do is do the same exact takedowns from the knees standing. I'm going to bring in Bobby De Los Santos and Atticus in again. They're going to demonstrate all the standing arm locks. First technique now, what he's going to do is called Osotogari. Okay, they come together. From this position, what he's going to do is he's going to try to snap Atticus's head down because he wants a reaction. He wants him to lift that head up. As he lifts that head up here now, that's going to allow him to take this, put his head and his bicep together, off balance him, and Bobby's going to try to go over the top of his body. So from this position, he's going to try to go over the top, and he's going to run his right leg over and hop it. That's going to give him the arm lock and the finish. Again, it's going to hop. Now, if Atticus starts to pop back, he's going to bounce on that left leg. Go over, bounce, and step to the arm lock. One more time. Okay, again, he's going to snap him, drive him, go over the top, and okay, now what we're going to do is the same thing. We're going to go for Osotogari. In Osotogari, it's 50-50. So 50-50 means Atticus can throw Bobby, only because his balance was off. So if he went for this attack, maybe he'll fake like he's going to use the Osotogari, and what Atticus is going to do is come back and rethrow him. As he does, he's going to insert his shin and lay back and go for the arm lock. From this position, same thing. He ties up, boom, he goes for that collar and elbow tie. Now again, he tries to off-balance him. He snaps him, he runs him, he throws him. Look at the arm lock. Just goes right into it. So actually what he did is he just faked it. He faked like he was going to go Osoto, laid back, and ended up in the arm lock. Again, let's see it from this way. So snaps him, runs him, he rethrows him. Look at that. Comes up, brings his leg. It doesn't matter if he misses because he was still holding the back of the head, which allows that lock to go on. One more time. He slams him. Look at that. He's holding his head. That allows that in and allows him to finish that arm. All right, now, what's going on is Bobby's now going to snap him down, and Atticus is going to lift. And as he lifts, he's going to jump his shin across the belly and actually jump right into this. Now, there's two ways to do it. You can actually jump up into it, or you can fall to your back and do it. I would suggest that it would be probably more practical to jump up into it as far as being more functional, because what's going to happen is a lot of times if you lay back, the guy will stuff that knee, he'll go on top and end up arm locking you. So I would suggest that you jump this up. Now, to train this, what he's going to have to do, Bobby's going to jump on Atticus. Atticus is going to have to hold him up. So as soon as he snaps, he lifts. He keeps his back tight, his butt tight, keeps his head up. That's going to allow him to jump onto him. Okay. Again, he's going to jump, snap him down. As he snaps, he's going to jump up and over, and then Atticus will let him down, and he'll underhook his leg and throw him over and roll him into the arm lock. Again. Okay, again, same thing. So he's going to snap him, tries to snap him, he lifts, and he's going to just jump his shin across and leg over the top, just like that. And look at that leg. Okay, one more time. So he snaps him down, he lifts up, right away as soon as he lifts, he jumps. That's it, and look at how he falls right into it, underhooks that leg, beautiful, rolls, and finishes the arm lock. Okay, with this arm lock, you have Japanese style, which is with one knee up, and it's your shin and your leg over. You're pinching your knees. Number two would be both legs over. It's a standard style arm lock. So this one is with both legs over. So this time he's going to actually jump into the guard. By jumping into the guard, his leg will be across the belly instead of the shin across the belly. His hamstring will be across the belly. Sometimes this feels more practical for some people. Some people prefer the knee, some people prefer the leg. I personally prefer the leg. Two options: you can actually snap him and jump up into him. Option two would be pull him down into your guard and fall and roll up. Another way it could happen is a guy shoots a double leg and you just fall on your back and roll right up into it. Prime example, Frank Shamrock and Kevin Jackson. He's going to try to snap him down as much as he can. Now he's going to jump his right leg up across the body and loop his other leg completely over his head. So he's going to jump sideways just like that and falls to his back, underhooks his leg, and look how he rolls him and brings him back down to his back. Okay. Again, he snaps him down. Snaps him, he lifts, he jumps immediately, jumps. and goes for the lock. Okay, again, now he's going to be very aggressive and jump as fast and as high as he can. He snaps him, he lifts, he jumps right up and over. Look at that, beautiful. And that's the lock that you're going to get. Now that's your jumping Jujigatame. Okay, so you have the option of jumping or falling. So again, now from here, he's going to come into him. Atticus is going to snap him first. He's going to try to snap him. But maybe Bobby sometimes will lift. If he lifts, he'll jump into it. If he doesn't lift, he just steps his right foot across, falls to his back, and loops that up right away. And goes for the arm. Good. And he'll do it again. A little smoother, a little faster. Perfect practice makes perfect. So again, you want to go high repetition. Go. That's it. He goes for a double leg tackle. He hits me. Look at, I go down, and I roll up and arm lock. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do number 5, which was kicking the leg out. Okay, so sometimes some people, to go to the guard, they put the foot on the hip. And this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick his leg to get him to sprawl. And as he sprawls, I'm going to just keep my body as tight as I can and just rip my leg right over the top of his head. Okay, so again, when we tie up, what I do sometimes, in order to get his arm, I give him my head. Okay, so again, my stance, sometimes I have a square stance or a staggered stance. Staggered is more for attacking. This is more for defense. But you're finding that in a lot of submission tournaments, the guys are coming out like this, in a total defensive stance like this. And they're doing what they call, in judo, they call jigate. But it's also known as a defensive stance in wrestling. Jigate means you're sticking your butt out and you're keeping your hands forward. You're afraid to get thrown. You're afraid to engage. So they do a lot of this stuff, which is great. So same thing now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give him my head. Okay. If he goes to shoot on me, my head's going to stop him regardless. Okay. Another thing that's important here is that if he tries to offset my head, that's going to give him the shot on my legs. So it's very important that my head controls center line. Okay. So by giving him my head, I allow him to grab me. Okay. I know he's got a ton of setups from here and a lot of things he's going to do to try to take me down. But I'm going to use this now. As soon as he goes here, I grab his head. Okay, my right foot right from here is just going to kick that support leg out. I'm going to fall back like that. Okay? Stand back up. Okay, from right here, so I'm going to give him my head. I'm going to underhook. I'm going to create the clinch on the arm, hold his head. From right here, I'm going to put my foot on his thigh. I'm going to kick his leg out. So from right here, I'm going to kick and I'm going to pull just like that. I want him to fall. That's what I want him to do. I want him to fall into me. Okay. Now, if I kick his leg, sometimes I'm going to miss it. So instead of kicking the leg, I'll put my foot on his hip. It's the same thing. Okay, I put my foot on his hip. See how I'm straightening him his body? Straighten his entire body out here by kicking his hip. Okay. All right. Now, if that leg's back, I naturally am going to go to his hip. This foot would hit him in the hip here. This foot's going to hit him in the hip. If that foot's square, I would kick his thigh here. Thigh kick him with an oblique kick. Okay, so again, I go for that tie up. I give my head, put my foot here, kick out, and just go straight for the arm lock immediately. This is already on. He's going to roll or do whatever. It's locked. And all I'll do if he starts to roll is I just roll with him and finish him with the arm lock. Okay, number 6, what I'm going to use here is a clinch, again, from that tie-up position with that underhook on the back of the tricep, holding the back of the head. When he's in here now, Atticus is going to come in. He's going to grab on the neck from the kneeling position. As I take this thing from here, again, my objective from this one is to keep that pinch and just reach this arm across. And as I reach this across, I don't want to lift that elbow. He'll just jam my elbow and take my back. Oh, no. Okay, no good. So when we're up now, same thing. Same position here. I reach this over. And as I reach this, I'm just going to reach it and rip real fast. I'm going to reach and rip this as hard as I can. Now, sometimes you can lock the arm right here standing. Most of the time, it's not good because he actually has what we call a high crotch or a fireman's carry from here. You just go for a fireman. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this position and rip him. I'm going to tuck his head here. As he starts to fall, I hold this arm and I post and I go back for this arm lock. Okay. So again, from right here, I'm here. I give him my neck. Go from here. I just reach across. I rip. I shove his head, and I fall back into the arm lock. As you can see, some of these attacks are not quite as functional as some of the other attacks. Some of the arm rips would be better for self-defense, as opposed to maybe a submission wrestling tournament or a no-holds-barred match. But you can use some of these to manipulate or move the body. So the key here now is, again, the rip. The next one would be the shuck, clearing your neck. That's the key. Okay, now what I'm going to do is he's going to grab. As he grabs here, I'm going to shuck. And I'm just going to shuck this, and I'm going to snap this hand, actually on the back of the head, and I'm just going to take it to the reverse arm lock here. Notice his pinky's up, his thumb is down, using my armpit as a fulcrum and lifting that thing up as high as I can. If it bends, it doesn't matter. I use my body weight into him, and the wrist is always on the end of that. Is there a finger on the end? Yeah. So it goes from shoulder to elbow to wrist to finger. Okay, again, from right here. He grabs. As soon as he grabs, I shuck and snap at the same time. Again, grabs, I shuck and snap. He grabs with the other hand. I shuck and catch, and snap. And notice as I'm catching this, I'm turning his pinky high and his thumb low. Okay, so he's grabbing, snapping, and reversing the arm lock here. Okay, this one's dangerous because you're really ripping the arm down and ripping the shoulder down. So you have a real big chance of actually ripping the ligaments and the muscles in the shoulder. Second way is I chicken wing him, and then I wrist lock him, and then finger lock for control. Okay, for the next one, which is the last one, it's number 8. As he grabs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this arm and pull it off. In any way I can, I want to take that arm off. Okay, and every time I take it off, I've got something that I can do with it. I can attack it in an arm lock. Okay? So again, if I take it, if I shuck it, I can take it with this hand, and I can try to turn it. I can also take it with my outside hand and try to turn it too. So I would just take it here and try to turn it, or take it here. See? Okay. The last one I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. He puts his hand here. I'm going to take this off and bring it down. As I do this, I switch my grip. I go from here to down and switch my grip. I have a grip here. This hand's going to, it's not going to just punch here. It's just going to rip through here, and I'm just going to sit. Now look at it from right here. I'm on my back. I get my base. I lift my legs, switch my arms. Arm lock. Okay, again. Grabs. I take it off. Switch my grip. Punch and sit. Notice he did a head spear. Okay, he's going to roll. As he rolls, I just rebalance, head down. Okay, Kizagatami option. Or Kizagatami option is this way. Okay, if it doesn't work, my head went down, and I reverse arm locked it that way.
That's good. That's good. Hi. Oh, am I on?
Hi.
You guys should be arm locking guys from the knees, left and right.
Actually, just
Then mama. Mama.
call if you want, we can set up a free private introduction just to get the feel of where you're at, for the basic techniques that we do.
Yeah, you screwed up the lens.
Who's in there? Anybody in there?
There.
And then you can go from there.
How about a little?
Watch out! Watch out! It's coming through. This, and I bring this arm over. Notice I'm pointing his thumb to the floor. I just go here, and I rip it. All right, now if he does this and rolls, then he fucked the technique up, so I got to do it again.
I'm sorry, Eric.
That's okay. I was going to lock it. I didn't want to show that the follow-up yet, I just because of the basics. Otherwise, I'd have to go to the other one.
Sorry, bud.
Okay. Okay, so here I am. I'm in the background. My hand, my hand. All right. As soon as he lands, boom, step it tight like that. Okay? Good. Oh, is he? You know who else goes is Bruce Wilkerson. Yeah, you meet all the hot chicks. At least you know one thing.
Oh, it's not one. You're saying it wrong. Let's give it their feet, isn't it?
I will break you.